Okie dokie. We are back. We are back. We are back. Give everyone a couple of minutes to come on in here. Check little. Okay, so apparently Trump's name's going back on the Kennedy Center. All right, that's long enough. First one. Legendary roast beef sandwich.
Tucked away deep in the magical lands of Sheepshead Bay, Brooklyn, lives a New York legend, Brennan and Cars. This place has been there since 1938, making it a bona fide culinary landmark in New York City. When you arrive, you're greeted by a jolly bald man wearing a white coat who mumbles your order into a microphone as old as the building.
Take 2 cheese beef, double dip.
Which then kicks off a process of thinly slicing their legendary roast beef, topping it with American cheese, putting it inside a bun before aggressively dunking it into a vat of beef drippings. And while it's its own thing, you could argue this is Brooklyn's take on a French dip sandwich, but they have 3 unique ways that you can order it, but more on that later. This is Brennan and Carr's iconic roast beef sandwich. For this recipe, we need to prep our meat a day or 2 in advance. And I've got a top round here, about 3.5 pounds. You really want a top round or a bottom round. It's just the right shape for roast beef. We're just gonna pat it dry out of its packaging. Keep everything nice and dry. And that's what you're looking for, a nice round piece of meat. First step is to truss it. So I've got some string here, and this is how I do it. To measure it, I pinch some string up here, and I'm just gonna loosely wrap it around my arm. I'm looking for like about 8 strings. Then all you gotta do, cut it. And you got all your string. That's way too much. Then we're just gonna go ahead, take it underneath, go into the center, pull it tight, and then 1 more knot. Could have given myself a little bit more slack. Here, I've got some roasted garlic oil. You could use regular oil, but we're basically just using this as a binder. I'm gonna just coat the whole thing lightly. Then we're gonna generously season with salt. Get that bottom down first, and then a lot fresh cracked black pepper. And I wanna get that flat side with like a pepper grinder. I grind the board. Then you can just take it, mop it up. Then we hit the top. Get it on a sheet tray. You wanna let this sit in the fridge, let that season penetrate for at least a day. If you can swing 2 days, great. Now after a day in the fridge, your roast beef should look nice and dried out. That seasoning should sort of have been adhered to the meat, and it's ready to roast. Got a little thermometer here. This is what we're gonna use to track this. Now, most thermometers, you stick it right in the middle. This one though has different probes, and it will find the core temp. So instead of running it through, I'm just gonna run it down. We took this straight out of the fridge.
Good.
It's about 48 degrees. Now I like a nice medium, maybe touching medium rare. I find closer to medium, you get a more tender beef. So the target temp's gonna be 130. And I have my oven preheated, 250 degrees. Before we pop it in the oven, I just wanna hit it with a little bit more of that garlic oil. Some moist.
Yeah, if you want, especially if this is eye around, you definitely want that fucker low and slow.
Send it back up. So this is gonna go now into the oven. Then along with a kind of unit like this, all these thermometers nowadays come with an app as well. And that's just gonna cook low and slow.
God, I hate modern technology at times. I don't need a fucking Wi-Fi app to know when a goddamn piece of meat's ready.
I would imagine for about 2 hours, but once it gets cooking a little bit, it should tell us right on the app. Halfway through the cook, we're just gonna rotate the beef and make sure that it cooks nice and evenly. We've got about 50 minutes left, and here's the thing about this low temp and why it's gonna help us ensure a nice even cook throughout the center of the beef. That thermometer will also track the surface temperature, as you can see here, which is around 150. Now, if a nice medium is going to be 130, 135, you don't want the surface of the meat to be much higher than that. Otherwise, you risk the dreaded gray band. And in roast beef, that gray band can get rather big, often due to, at some point in the cook, blasting it at like 500 degrees. That's why we sacrifice the crust, because it's barely even gonna be noticeable once we thinly slice it, in order to get the perfect cook in the center, which is all roast beef is at the end of the day. 40 has hit me like a ton of bricks. And between me and my family, I've seen my share of doctors this year. And in the past, I've always wondered, like, how do you find a good doctor? Is it your mom's doctor? What if she didn't pick a good doctor? Well, one of the best ways I've found to find great doctors is our sponsor today, ZocDoc. I think a lot of reasons people put off going to see a doctor is because they don't know if their doctor is actually a great one. And in my experience, there really isn't a better way right now to find great doctors than ZocDoc. With ZocDoc, you can search and compare local in-network doctors with more than 150,000 providers within more than 200 specialties across all 50 states. And besides detailed doctor profiles, the best part for me is that I can read through reviews from real patients, and then I can see when there is an appointment available and instantly book a visit. And you don't have to wait weeks. Appointments happen fast, usually within 24 to 72 hours. Sometimes you can even find same-day appointments, which is almost impossible these days. Best part about it is ZocDoc is completely free. Now, as we've grown old together over these last 8 years, we all need to start looking after ourselves a little bit better. First step is clicking the link in the description or visit ZocDoc/notanother and get started today. Now, it's been about an hour and a half, and the internal temperature is 115. Now, if we were cooking this at a much hotter temperature, let's say 500 degrees, 400 degrees, now would be the time at 115 that I would pull this out. And a piece like this at that temperature would carry over at least 15 degrees pulling it out now. But we're cooking this at 250. Now, it's a big piece of meat, but a much lower inertia, and so I'm going to predict this carryover cooks no more than 4 degrees, maybe as low as 2 degrees. So I'm aiming to pull this out at 127. 127, time to take it out. Smells like that Maillard actually kind of came through a little bit on the outside without even having to blast it. Just gonna wrap it in some foil, try and insulate it a bit until we're at our final temp. There we go. While I don't suspect this will carry over much longer, I'm gonna place this in the fridge and try and stop the momentum. But now we can start working on the beef jus. This is a vital part. They've got a vat of it. Every sandwich is dipped through it, depending on how you order it. And so now we didn't get a lot of...
Actually, the jus part of this, supposedly according to legend, was a mistake. Basically, it was some guy way back in the day. I can't remember the decade. And so anything pre-1960 is... the cook was probably drinking, and he accidentally dropped it into the jus and pulled it out real quick, and he said, "Oh, I'm sorry, sir, I'll make you another one." And because only the meat went in, not the bread too. The guy was like, "Fuck it, I'm hungry and I'm in a hurry. I don't give a shit. I'll eat it." And it was the greatest thing he'd ever eaten. And when he came back around, he asked for it again and again. And other people started asking for it, and legend grows.
Browning, a lot of fond on the pan, and so we're not gonna get like crazy beef jus out of it, so we're going to use a good beef stock or beef broth to get started. We're gonna fortify that with various flavors. So we're gonna start with garlic and shallots. We're just gonna smash the cloves I'm just gonna slice up the shallots. Now, one of the tricks I'm sure a place like this uses, we used it on the food truck when we braised our short ribs, is a version of like a perpetual stock or broth. When I tested this recipe, this is the residual of the broth that we used. While I'm gonna make a new one, I'm going to add the old one back into it. And if you do a process of that where you save a little bit, add it back in, that adds that sort of deep flavor that only like a place like Brennan and Carr's kind of gives you just from age and quantity of what they're cooking. So I'm gonna get my little saucier on medium-high heat, and I'm gonna add a little bit of that garlic oil I have left over. You could use regular olive oil. Once we've got it hot, I'm gonna add in the garlic and the shallots and begin to brown them. Try to build some flavor on the bottom of the pan just to add some depth to the stock. Hit them with a little salt. And all you're looking for is developing a little color, getting them nice and aromatic. You're basically just looking for that amazing smell you smell when you caramelize garlic and onions. Once we got some nice color developing on the pan, I'm gonna go ahead and add in the beef broth. Add in about 2 capfuls of Worcestershire sauce and then a couple dashes of soy sauce. And despite having added fresh garlic and fresh onion, I'm also going to add dried minced garlic and dried minced onion. They both add a different distinct flavor that's going to sort of steep into the broth and they'll get strained out later. Then we're gonna add the old stock. Now we're just gonna bring that up to a boil, drop that down to a simmer and just allow all of that flavor to marry. Roughly just until the beef fully cools down. Now, did you see that? Peaked at 132, which is not bad. I told you, I was off by a degree. I should have pulled it at 125 if I wanted to land square at 130.
You have failed.
Now we want to completely let this cool down before we wrap it. We're gonna strain the broth and then we can make sandwiches the next day. Patience, I know it's cooked. You could eat this now, it's just harder to slice thin when it's still warm. Once it's firmed up overnight and chilled, you're gonna see you can get a deli slice, albeit slightly thicker than paper thin. Once it's chilled, and then we'll warm it back up in the broth. Cool to the touch, almost down, a little above room temp. Gonna take my roast beef, I'm gonna wrap it up. Place it in the fridge to firm up overnight. Now in our roasting pan, we've got some cooking juices. So I'm gonna take some of the liquid, clean up.
Yeah, actually, one of the funniest things is they think that the red shit that comes out of meat is blood. It's not blood. Veins, arteries carry blood. It's essentially meat juice.
The sheet tray, get it back into the pan. Then we're gonna strain out our broth. Now this, for all intents and purposes, is going to be our vat. This is gonna be what we dip and serve the sandwich with. This we can place in the
Oh my god. Once again, what a shock. Lefty doesn't know what a joke is.
fridge to cool. Now imagine you did this over the weekend, you wake up tomorrow, it's Monday, you're set up to be making sandwiches all week. And that's what we're gonna be doing tomorrow, so I'll see you then. So now is the fun part. First thing we gotta do is set our vat up. So I'm gonna take our broth, I'm just gonna bring that up to temperature. Just get that out of its plastic, pat the bottom dry. And let's see how we did. Juicy, nice medium, maybe a little medium rare. That's how you want it. Now to cut it, I'm just gonna remove the string, but you wanna use your thinnest blade, and this is how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna cut it in half first, so that's against the grain. Now I've got a smaller piece of meat that I have more control of to shave thin. Moist, thin, easy to slice.
Don't you have a deli slicer? Dude, if you're gonna do this, I recommend getting a deli slicer. They're only a couple $100.
See how tender it makes it when you do it nice and thin? On top of that, we're gonna add our cheese, our American cheese. I don't know the rolls that they use, but I've got this roll. It's actually a Portuguese roll. Now there's 3 ways you could order. The first one's the dingle dangle, and that is just taking the meat, or the meat and the cheese, and dipping it into the hot broth, then placing it on the bun. Next one's called the double dip. So the double dip takes the bottom bun, then we're gonna place it right down. Then we're gonna take the meat, and then we're gonna dip it. Dip the top bun, close it up, and that's your double dip. And then finally, the knife and fork job, which is essentially them drowning the sandwich in broth. that is phenomenal. When you get the right bread, it holds up to all of that juice. And the roast beef is on point, never gonna...
If you can't find that bread, just any bread will do, but I would recommend letting it go a day old, maybe. All right. Let's do... Ah, what the hell. This guy. I like this guy. Good guy. Nice guy.
You seen that title in the thumbnail, and we got another one of those quick and easy one-pot meals. I'm gonna show you how to make this beef, pepper, and rice skillet. Y'all ready? Get in your kitchen, let's go. All right, so let's go over the ingredients real quick. And remember, these ingredients can be found on my website at ijustcookalot.com or allwingseverything.com. I don't know why people always ask me, where are the measurements? I'm telling you, it's right there on the screen. You just gotta pay attention to the video. So right here we have our beef broth, crushed tomatoes, our ground beef. We got our rice here. Yes, I've already washed it and rinsed it. Some Italian seasoning. Right here in these 3 dishes, we have some bell peppers, red, green, and yellow, fresh chopped garlic, black pepper, salt, some onions, and we have our olive oil right there. So that's all you need. Let's get into it. All right, to get started, we're gonna turn our heat on. We're gonna put this over medium heat. We're gonna heat up our olive oil. Next, we're gonna go in with our onions and our garlic, and we're just gonna saute these until fragrant. This could take maybe about 2 to 3 minutes. And once you get that fragrance that you're looking for.
Ah, damn it. All right. Gotta get another beer.
We're gonna go in next with our ground beef. And we're just gonna get this broken up and cooked until it's brown, which is all the way through. And we're gonna crumble this up as we go along. I'm gonna hit this with a little salt real quick, and I'm gonna hit it with a little pepper. And we're gonna just continue to cook this till
Once again, this is a little bit, I don't know, maybe elitist or snobby. Get yourself a pepper grinder. Pepper, freshly ground pepper, tastes 1,000 times better than anything pre-ground.
it's brown. All right, so after those few minutes and you've browned your ground beef, if you need to drain the excess grease out of here, you can. Mine typically never has any grease. Not enough for me to drain, just that flavor for me.
How? Unless you're buying like 95.5 or 93.7 or 97.3. Which, that means your beef's going to be dry as fuck. I buy 80/20 for anything I'm doing with burger. If I got to drain it, then I drain it.
I'm gonna go in next with our peppers. I'm gonna go in with the red ones, and it doesn't matter which order you put it in, the yellow ones and the green ones. And we're just gonna get these babies sauteed in here until they're softened. So this could take several minutes. I would say around about 5 minutes. All right, so after about 3 minutes of letting those veggies saute, we're gonna go in with our salt, our pepper, and our Italian seasoning. And we're gonna get that mixed in here, and we're gonna allow this to finish cooking for another 2 to 3 minutes to allow those flavors to come together and those veggies to continue to soften.
Hey, is the rice pre-cooked or not? I can't tell.
All right, so after that 3 minutes, we're gonna go in with our rice now.
That is cooked.
And once we get everything coated and that rice slightly toasted,
If you're going to do pre-cooked rice, that's fine, but I would recommend treating it like a fried rice. So make the rice, if you're going to make this on, let's say, a Tuesday, make it Monday, and then let it hang out in your fridge till Tuesday. It just absorbs shit better.
we're gonna go in with our crushed tomatoes and our beef broth. And you want to get this
like
mixed
I said, I've done Mexican rices where I've done them from raw, but if you're going to use already cooked rice, why not get the best price? And trust me, this is like 100 to 95. I've made fried rice with freshly cooked rice and it's been great. But if you have the foresight, do the day old.
In real good. If you gotta add a little bit more beef broth, you should. We're gonna allow this mixture to come to a slight simmer. As you can see right now, it's bubbling up, it's at that slight simmer. We're gonna reduce our heat to low. We're gonna get a top, cover that baby up, and we're gonna let this cook until the right.
Forgive my ignorance, but if you want the liquid to reduce, the steam has to go somewhere.
Rice is tender, which could take probably about 10 to 12 minutes, all right? All right, guys.
I mean, if this reduces, I'll be shocked.
So we're about 15 minutes in. I allowed mine to cook for 15 minutes. I also had to put a little bit more beef broth in there to make sure that rice can cook and get tender like we wanted. So let's take a peek at this baby. That's what I'm talking about. All right, so now all we're gonna do, we're gonna turn this off. We're gonna bring this baby over here to our cutting board. And guys, as you can see, I got some cheese right there. Yes, I called the audible. So now let's take our top off. We're gonna give that baby a quick stir. As you can see, man, look at that. Whew, baby looking good right there. But you know something? It ain't easy being cheesy. Why not add a little cheese on top of this thing? So we're gonna add a little cheese over here like this. You don't want much, just a little bit. I'm gonna cover this baby back up just for a minute, allow that cheese to melt, about a couple minutes, and we're gonna come back. All right, so it's been a couple of minutes. Let's remove our lid. Put that baby over here. Oh man, that baby looking good now. I'm telling you, that baby looking good. And you know we're gonna end it up with some of that what? Say it with me. That green stuff.
Uncle Ben, Aunt Jemima.
There you have it, guys. Beef, peppers.
And you know, here's the thing. Aunt Jemima I could get because she was just a marketing gimmick. But the guy behind Uncle Ben was actually a respected chef. That'd be like removing Chef Boyardee. Yeah, he was an actual legit chef. Granted, his face is now on the cans of the crappiest pasta on the planet, but at one time.
And rice skillet. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. We're gonna go ahead and jump into quality control because we gotta do a taste test on this baby. Just grab this bowl. We about to do something special. You already know that baby cheesy.
Yeah, and the name they picked to replace it is terrible. The Pearl River Milling Company, whatever the fuck that is. God damn it, bring back Aunt Jemima.
Let's go ahead and get to it. Baby hot.
And once again, it's probably like the Redskins thing. 95% of First Nations peoples don't give a shit. I mean, I'm not a member of one of the tribes, but if I was, I wouldn't care.
Listen, this baby delicious. And it kind of tastes like Mexican rice a little bit, but not quite because you got the cheese in it. And with Mexican rice, at least when I make it, I always add some tomatoes, whether it's crushed tomatoes or diced tomatoes. So,
okay. Now we shall do this from Marco Pierre White, the man who trained Gordon Ramsay.
Right, so a large percentage is washed off during the cooking. Whenever you cook steak, always make sure your pan's hotter than you want it, because the loss of heat when you place a steak into it is extraordinary. Without touching a steak, you know it's medium rare. When the blood just starts to pierce the surface, then it's medium rare. You don't have to...
Marco, it's not blood, buddy.
Product, you don't have to touch it. Always over-season your meat when you fry it, so a large percentage is washed off during the cooking. Whenever you cook steak, always make sure your pan's hotter than you want.
By the way, he's being all nice and calm and like Bob Rossi, but apparently in the kitchen, this guy would stick a knife up your ass if you fuck something up. Okay, bubble up pizza baked thing.
For dinner, we had this bubble up pizza bake. It's always been one of my kids' favorites.
Yeah! I'd eaten the shit out of that if I was a kid. I'd eat the shit out of that now. Will you adopt me?
And it's delicious, easy, and fun to make. Let me show you. Start with an 8-count package of Pillsbury Grand's home-style biscuits and cut each one into 9 pieces. Melt half a stick of butter and add some oregano, some minced garlic, some parsley, and some Parmesan cheese. Stir in the biscuits and mix it up really well. Then you're going to layer those into the bottom of a 9x13 baking dish. Bake at 400 for about 15 minutes. While that's baking, brown up some Italian
Oh my god, that kitchen must smell good as fuck!
sausage and grate 16 ounces of mozzarella cheese. Take that out of the oven and spread on a jar of your favorite pizza sauce. Then you're going to spread the Italian sausage on, and you can of course add any other toppings that you like too. Spread the cheese on and top it off with a layer of pepperoni slices. Bake for about 15 more minutes or until that cheese is golden brown and bubbly. And that's all there is to it.
I would eat the shit out of that. Okay, air fryer orange chicken. I didn't know that was possible.
We are going to start by mixing together a few dry ingredients before cleaning and dicing our chicken into bite-sized pieces. Then we will toss each piece into our coating and pop them in the air fryer until they're perfectly crispy. While the chicken cooks, we'll saute a few fresh aromatics, juice a couple of oranges, and combine everything with a handful of pantry staples to create a sweet, sticky orange chicken sauce. Once our chicken is golden brown and cooked all the way through, we will toss it in our delicious homemade sauce, and just like that, you'll have an easy homemade orange chicken that's perfect for any busy
I can't decide if she's hot or not.
weeknight. Y'all, they just opened a Panda Express about 5 minutes from my house, and I have made it a mission of mine to try to recreate as many of their menu items as possible. So today we are tackling orange chicken. This is one of my favorite menu items, and if it is yours too, I'm about to change the game for you. Not only are we going to make this in under 30 minutes, we're going to be using our air fryer, and we are going to pair it with a delicious, from scratch.
Well, looks like she landed a good one. Look at the size of that fucking rock.
Orange chicken sauce that we are going to make with, yes, real oranges and all of those delicious traditional flavors that you are to expect from a Chinese restaurant. In a small bowl, we are going to start by mixing together half a cup of cornstarch, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, and half a teaspoon of your favorite poultry seasoning. Give everything a quick mix until it's well combined, and then set it aside while we move on to our
Poultry seasoning? That's shocking.
chicken. One of my favorite things about this recipe is that we are essentially making
Well, she does have nice tits.
fried chicken without any panko or breadcrumbs, which sounds pretty insane. I know a lot of you are like, there's no way these are going to be crunchy at all. If you're thinking of like a super crunchy, like Chick-fil-A chicken tender, no, that's not what we're after. We are going to be getting a very delicious, slightly crispy exterior that we are then going to coat with a delicious sauce. So it's going to feel like you are eating at Panda Express. If you want a little bit more texture, feel free to add a little bit of panko to our breading mixture. But I promise you, if you make it my way, you will not regret it. It does not need anything else. Before we prep our chicken, let's go ahead and preheat our air fryer to 400 degrees. Now let's head back to our cutting board. Today I am using 2 large chicken breasts. Start by taking your time to trim off any excess fat before cutting each breast in half and then into roughly 2-inch cubes. Try not to...
Okay, I know the bride is never supposed to remove her wedding ring. But, honey, you might want to remove your ring just for sanitation.
Make your pieces too small because they can cook much faster in the air fryer and can definitely dry out. Once all of your chicken is cubed, bring back our...
Wouldn't it be fucked up if that thing was like a cubic zirconia?
Cornstarch mixture. Working one piece at a time, toss each cube into the bowl until every side is evenly coated. Continue until all of your chicken has been coated. Then take out your air fryer basket, give it a light spray with your preferred cooking oil, and arrange your chicken into a single layer, making sure that the pieces are not touching. You may need to cook in batches depending on the size of your air fryer. Next, give the tops of your chicken another light spray with your preferred cooking oil before sliding the basket into the air fryer. Air fry at 400 degrees for 7 minutes and then flip each piece over and cook for another 7 minutes or until the chicken is golden brown, crispy, and cooked all the way through. Now for our sauce. I am taking my time and juicing 2 large navel oranges today, simply cutting each
That is something I would never do.
orange in half and squeezing out as much juice as I can. If y'all were wondering, you can definitely pick up
Well, if she's into femdom-y shit, you know she can crank a dick.
one of these simple handheld citrus juicers at Walmart for around $8, and they make this process, y'all, so much easier. Before juicing my last orange, I'm going to remove the zest from the entire orange and add it right into our fresh orange juice. The zest adds an incredible amount of fresh citrus flavor that really takes the sauce to the next level. Once all of your oranges have been juiced and the zest has been added, go ahead and add half a cup of granulated sugar, 2 tablespoons of rice vinegar, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of water, and finally 1 tablespoon of cornstarch to your bowl. Give everything a good whisk until the cornstarch is completely dissolved and the sauce is smooth with no large clumps remaining. Also worth mentioning, if you're going to try this recipe at home but are not really a big fan of orange chicken, these chicken tenders are a great base for any sauce. Buffalo sauce, barbecue sauce, honey mustard, sweet chili. The possibilities are endless. While our tenders are getting nice and crispy in the air fryer.
Well, she's got to have some money behind her. Maybe she's making it or he's making it. Because that range behind her ain't fucking cheap.
Before we start on our sauce, I wanted to mention a couple things. I feel like I always try to give you guys as many alternatives as possible. Although for this recipe, really y'all, you have to try to get as many fresh ingredients as you can. I know it's gonna be super tempting to substitute the fresh squeezed oranges for orange juice that you can buy at the store. Do not do that, y'all. I promise you the texture and the flavor is going to be completely different. And if you don't
Maybe I'll have to run an experiment then. Because I've made orange chicken in the past and I've always just used orange juice. Maybe I'll have to run an experiment.
believe me, try it for yourself and you will see. Now let's grab a large saute pan and turn it up to medium-low heat. Add 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and once that's warm, add 1 tablespoon of minced garlic, about 1/4 teaspoon of fresh ginger, and 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flakes. Stirring everything frequently so the ginger and the garlic do not burn. We just want them to become nice and fragrant, which should only take about a minute. Next, pour in your orange juice mixture and increase the heat to medium-high. Bringing the sauce to a gentle simmer and let it cook for about 8 to 10 minutes, stirring occasionally until it has thickened enough to easily coat the back of a spoon or spatula. And just like that, y'all, you have a delicious homemade orange chicken sauce. It is perfectly thick, sticky.
Her channel is Cammy's Kitchen. Dang, for a decently attractive girl, I'm shocked. She only has that many subscribers?
Sticky and a combination of all these delicious flavors. You probably noticed that
And the only reason I said that is because YouTube, much like all these online spaces, is a fucking sausage fest.
added red pepper flakes. This is completely optional, and actually I'm surprised that I like it because I usually try to stay away from any kind of heat or spice, but this is so subtle, and the
What a shock.
amount that we put in here is really not enough to give you any kind of actual heat. It just adds another depth of flavor that contrasts beautifully with all of the sweetness in here. Lastly, let's bring both of our creations together. Add your crispy air fryer chicken directly
You still had raw flour on that, sweetie. You're losing me.
onto your thickened orange sauce, then gently toss everything together until every piece is completely coated. And just like that, we are officially ready to serve. I always like taking the extra minute to garnish mine with a sprinkle of sesame seeds, but feel free to also add some fresh sliced green onions or both if you have them on hand. I am so excited to try this.
Yeah, call me crazy. That still had raw flour on it. Okay.
Of our creations together, add your crispy
Your husband didn't marry you for your brain, right?
air fryer chicken directly onto your thickened orange sauce, then gently toss everything together until every piece is completely coated. And just like that, we are officially ready to serve. I always like taking the extra minute to garnish mine with a sprinkle of sesame seeds, but feel free to also add some fresh sliced green onions or both if you have them on hand. I am so excited to try this, and the best part about recipes like this is that they go with everything. Some noodles, some white rice.
I will say she did prove one thing: an air fryer is no place for orange chicken. Get your goddamn oil out.
If you're counting carbs, some steamed broccoli, y'all. I'm so excited. And the sauce, oh my gosh, over rice would be insane. Okay, let's try it.
Well, rice only takes 20 damn minutes to make.
Oh my gosh, y'all. The orange flavor in this is insane from the orange zest, but then there's like a little heat back there from the pepper flakes and the garlic. Everything just works.
Alright, whatever. She's happy with it. I wouldn't do it like this, but that's me. And I'm a dick. We'll do this guy again.
Addictively delicious, and all in under 15 minutes. Oh yeah, this countertop, it's got a good slide to it. Oh, how I have missed you. If you've been
Why do you insist on starting your videos like you're a seductive fucking model?
wondering where I've
You're not! You're a chubby Asian!
been, the answer is moving and building
Oh, I'm gonna teach you how to make a noodle. You fucking lame white motherfucker.
this kitchen. I am so excited for this space and to be bringing you more recipes. The studio isn't quite finished yet. I still have like things that need to be installed, and I need to figure out what to put on these top shelves. I was gonna put plates, but I'm short and I can't reach it without a ladder. So decoration it is. Please leave any short friendly suggestions down below. Now for the inaugural video in this
High shelves are our enemy. We shall leave them blank.
kitchen, what better than one of my favorite recipes, one with over 50 million views, chili garlic noodles. Now we'll start by tearing apart a small family of garlic. For this recipe, we're making about 2 servings, so for that, we're gonna use about 6 cloves of garlic. Now you can grate these cloves of garlic, but I find that chopping them up is gonna give you a better texture than if you were to just kind of like macerate it into a paste. So I like to start by just cutting off the nubbins, the little butt roots, because those are a little bit gross. Then we can give them all an individual smash. Strip back all the skin. Can you hear that? There's a plane overhead. Not something I had necessarily looked into or thought about when it comes to filming. Then we'll just bunch up all of our crushed garlic and we'll just rock our knife through it 4 to 5 times just to get it to a nice, roughly chopped consistency. If you like bigger pieces of garlic, you're welcome to leave it bigger. If you like it smaller and you want to run it through a thing, you know, the garlic grinder thing, you're more than welcome to. But I think that roughly chopping it is the way to go for this recipe. Plus, it leaves you with less dishes, so also a pro. Now for our ginger, we're gonna go ahead and just peel off the bottom, call it like 3/4 of an inch of a knob of ginger, or a leg, or a root, or a stem. We only need about 1/2 an inch of the ginger, but it makes it a lot easier to peel a little more than to peel a little less. Now, once that ginger is trimmed up, we're gonna go ahead and cut off the butt, that part that's been exposed to the air, it's kind of dried out. And then from here, this is very important. We're going to take our ginger. I just realized my camera fell. Hold please. I've returned. Now this part is important. You're going to take your ginger and we're going to cut it into very thin slices. You wanna make sure we're cutting against the grain of our ginger, so we're cutting them into little discs instead of along the grain into a long plank of ginger. Now the beauty of cutting our ginger this way is now we have these little tiny discs, and then we can just go ahead and take our knife, place it on top, and smash it. This will give us a nice minced ginger with minimal amount of work. And then all you have to do is just repeat that with the rest of your discs. Moving right along. And while I am doing this with a knife, I would highly recommend you do this with something like a bench scraper because there's no sharp edge versus this has a sharp edge. So if you happen to hit and drag your hand, you could slice your skin off, which would suck and totally ruin your night. And if you don't have a bench scraper, you could also just use a pot. Like just take a pot and just go bop, you know, just do it, bop. It works just fine. Now we'll just give this a few passes to make sure all those fibers are truly broken up. And there we go. Now for our green onions, we're gonna want about 4 stalks. We're just going to cut off the tips on a bias so we get a nice lengthy
Rinse
green
your knife at least, Jesus!
onion cut. And then here, we're just going to very thinly cut nice little slices. I really have missed you. It's been lonely without you. I mean, I've got my wife and my soon-to-be baby, but still, it's just not the same without you. Now, once we have all those cut up, we are just going to go ahead and separate these by the greens of our green onions and the whites of our green onions, because we're gonna end up cooking down the white parts and then garnishing with these lovely green parts. And finally, our last bit of prep is a singular Persian cucumber. Now, if you don't have a Persian cucumber, totally fine. You can also just use a regular cucumber. But Persian cucumbers are cute and smaller, and cute things taste better. So we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing that we did like our green onions, and we're gonna cut
Habaneros don't!
these on a bias to give us nice oblong discs or frisbees, but they wouldn't be retailed frisbees because they're shaped weird. And then from here, once we have our deformed frisbees, we're just gonna go ahead and cut them lengthwise into matchsticks. Now for our sauce.
He had to do that 15 times. All right.
First bowl flip in the new kitchen was pretty crispy. Not gonna lie, that was really solid. 2 tablespoons of Chinese light soy sauce, a tablespoon of Chinese dark soy sauce, a tablespoon of black vinegar, a tablespoon of sugar, or your preferred 0-calorie sweetener. I like the monk fruit stuff, but whatever you enjoy. Depending on your salt preference, you may want to add in a tiny pinch of salt. If you don't like a lot of salt and you think a lot of things are extra salty, then you may want to leave it out because there is salt in our soy sauce, but personal preference. Taste and adjust as you go. You can always add more later. A tablespoon of sesame seeds. You can definitely wait and add those in at the end, but I like to just cook them down with everything because the idea is to do this quickly and efficiently, and if I can do it all at once, then why not? And the last thing you're gonna be adding is your chili flakes, which there are tons of options for. You can do something like a Korean chili flake, a gochugaru. You can do like a traditional, like American style chili flake, which I don't actually know if it's American style, but you know, like the common chili flakes people have. The one thing with something as thick as this and as coarse as this is that it doesn't spread out as evenly, and you're gonna get more chili flakes than like a ground up chili powder that kind of blends into the sauce, but it's all personal preference. You can also just take these and blend them if you want to. That works as well. And when picking your chili flakes, you can also decide what kind of spicy and what level of spicy you want.
Yeah, which would become cayenne pepper.
If you want something that is like more of a numbing, like a really intense Chinese spice, like the Szechuan, go for it. I love it, but I gotta share with my wife. She's probably not gonna like that being 9 months pregnant. So for me, I'm gonna go with 3 tablespoons of these Korean style chili flakes, which is definitely more coarse than a powder, but still has a little bit of bite to it. So it's not just blending entirely and kind of hiding away. And then we can just give this all a nice whisk together, and you should end up with a very nice chili paste. Now for one of my favorite parts about this new kitchen is I actually have a stove that I can film on. This is nice. This is nice. As much as I absolutely love my single induction burner, the issue with it is it's just a single induction burner. So now I can cook multiple things at the same time. I feel unstoppable. Let's boil some water. Actually, we're just filling water right now, and then we'll boil it, but you get the gist. Placing that on the stove. Now we're just gonna get this going so that way once our meat and our sauce is done, we're ready to just move over our noodles. Efficiency. Now for our main cooking pan of choice today, we're going with a 12-inch stainless steel pan. You can go nonstick or cast iron or carbon steel if you want, whatever your preference is, but I like to use stainless steel. But I would
Well, nonstick is dependent on heat. If nonstick gets too high, the coating will start to smoke, and Well, it's pretty much harmless to you, but, I mean, if you have, like, a beloved parrot or something, they're fucked.
Recommend staying in that 12-inch space. If you go down to a 10-inch, it's doable, but it just gets really kind of crammed and tight, and then things start to spill. Makes a bigger mess. Now, once our pan is adequately heated on medium-high heat, we're just gonna go ahead and add in a couple tablespoons of neutral oil, making sure we've got a nice even coat all around our pan. And then from here, we're gonna go ahead and add in about a pound of 80/20 ground pork. Now, I wouldn't recommend going any leaner than 80/20, because once you get to that really lean stuff, it's just gonna dry out and get kind of crumbly. But once it's in your pan, we're gonna go ahead and press it down very carefully using a spoon, getting a nice even coverage so we can get as much surface area as possible with this pork. And then we'll just let this sit for about 2 to 3 minutes until that crust on the bottom forms. Then we can hit it with a light sprinkle of salt. Where's my white pepper? A sprinkle of white pepper, or black pepper if that's all you have. And we're just gonna let this sit for about 2 to 3 minutes to really build up a crust on the bottom. And now that our crust has started to form, this should pop up pretty easily. And we can go ahead and just give this all a nice chop. I'll be honest, my crust, not looking great. Not looking so great at all. Still learning this stove, so give me time. Give me patience. I'm trying my best. Now, after another
No! You must be a master instantly!
couple minutes, your pork should be
You have failed! Life over. Commit seppuku.
just about done, and your crust should look a lot better than mine. I didn't really have a great Maillard reaction on that, but that's okay. Still gonna be delicious. We're gonna go ahead and add in the whites from our green onions, the ginger, and of course, our garlic. Now, the important thing here is that we
Are you sure you added the whites? Those looked pretty fucking green.
just keep this moving because we don't want any of that garlic to burn. We do want to start to get it all fragrant and delicious, but we do want to cook it down enough to get rid of that raw garlic taste and get really that more fragrant and cooked down garlic. Now, after another couple minutes and it starts to smell incredibly delicious, we're gonna go ahead and add in our sauce. Now, it's gonna look pretty thin and not really much like a sauce, but give it time because it's going to loosen up when we add in our pasta water. Now, after about a minute with that sauce, that meat is nicely coated, we're gonna go ahead and kill our heat, which is almost perfect timing because our
I think he added the greens. I think those, the other ones are sitting back there. I could be dead fucking wrong, but...
water is finally starting to boil. Now, for our noodles, I'm gonna be using some fresh knife-cut noodles, about 2 portions or 400 grams worth. But if you have top ramen noodles, use top ramen noodles. If you have spaghetti, I wouldn't use spaghetti, but if that's what you have, like, that's what you have. Like, make it work. There should be absolutely zero shame when cooking for yourself. Now, my noodles were fresh, so they only took a couple of minutes to cook. So I'm gonna go ahead and just move these over. And you don't necessarily wanna strain these out. I am kinda letting them drip off a bit, but I do want some of that water. It's gonna help to liquefy our sauce a little bit better. Listen, first day in the new kitchen, it's a little bit different. I'm still working on things. It's not perfect, but it's me. And I hope that that's enough. Now, once all of our noodles are out, we're gonna go ahead and just start to kind of mix and fold them all together. And we are gonna go ahead and add in about a ladle full or about half a cup of pasta water into our pasta. Noodles. I keep calling it pasta water. I don't know what else to call it. Just noodle water? Noodle water feels weird. But either way, once you get that starchy water into your...
Look, it's all pasta. It's just, this is the one time where, yes, one pasta noodle is different than the other.
Pan with...
It's just we tie the word pasta to anything Italian, but it's bullshit.
not pasta. We're just gonna go ahead and mix it all up. And like I said before, go with the bigger pan because obviously we need the bigger pan. Arguably, if there was like a 16-inch pan, I would have been happy with that. Gonna add a little more pasta water just to loosen it up a little more. Not pasta. And now that our sauce has nicely coated our noodles,
Your ancestors weep for you.
we can go ahead and put it all together. Our noodles, a good amount of that pork, green onions, and topped with those crisp cucumbers. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and I really hope that you learned something.
All right.
Today on Ballistic Burgers, I'm going to be cooking up the pork belly whopper from Hungry Jack's in Australia. Let's get
The pork? Oh my god, if I had that, I'd have diarrhea for a week. That's where you're basically making a bacon burger. with nothing but bacon in it.
Going. Quick shout out to Monument Grills for sponsoring this video. Hungry Jack's. Hungry Jack's is Burger King, but in Australia. And I was always wondering, why is it called Hungry Jack's? I mean, we have McDonald's all over the world and they're called McDonald's. KFC, same thing.
Actually, in Australia, they generally refer to McDonald's as Maccers. They are a silly people.
So I did a little looking into this, and I don't even know if a lot of the Australians know the story, but in the late 60s, Burger King in America started expanding internationally. They started out with Canada. In 1970, they were looking at Australia. Well, it turns out there's a small shop in Adelaide, Australia, was called Burger King, and they already trademarked the name Burger King. So Burger King could not use that name anymore. So the parent company of Burger King at the time was Pillsbury. Pillsbury had a long list of already trademarked.
Honestly, I don't know why the fuck they just didn't try to buy it. Like, hey, here's an insanely large check. Give us the fucking copyright.
Names.
Or the trademark, or whatever the fuck.
They presented it to, it was going to be the lead franchisee in Australia, basically the point of the spear as far as getting the first restaurant set up. His name was John James Cowan. They gave him a list of names. One of those names on the list was Hungry Jack. Now, Americans know the name Hungry Jack from the Pillsbury frozen pancakes. There's actually a little kind of a jingle that goes with it that's pretty catchy.
Hungry, hungry Jack, they gobble 'em down and the plate.
I've never heard of those biscuits. They're always Pillsbury Grands. The only thing I remember Hungry Jack being on is like fucking pancake mix.
Comes back for Hungry Jack.
Well, John James Cowan, his nickname was Jack. So of course he gravitated to that. Hungry Jack's is born. The first restaurant opened in Australia in 1971. Now, like the Burger Kings here in America, they have the same basic menu, and like the US, they throw out these kind of special burgers like every year, you know, for a limited time. Right now, as I'm filming this video, one of the burgers that they're featuring is called simply the pork belly. Now, in my title, I'm not using that because it just seems like I'm cooking pork belly. But essentially what it is, it's a Whopper, and it has like grilled pork belly on top along with everything else. It also has a barbecue sauce, which has been described as...
So essentially it's a goddamn bacon cheeseburger. I mean, pork belly is where we get bacon.
A little sweet, kind of fruity. One YouTuber described it as tasting Chinese, like he was adamant that it had a Chinese flavor. So we're going to kick this off by building a very simple sauce. And I'm just using the descriptions of these burger reviewers that I've seen on YouTube. So I have here 1/2 cup of ketchup, 1/4 cup of honey, 2 tablespoons of pineapple nectar, just pineapple juice. This is a really good pineapple juice from concentrate, so there's actually, you know, you can see the kind of frothiness of pineapple in there. I'm going to add a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar, just a little acidity there. 1/4 teaspoon of liquid smoke. I have a video on how to make this if any of you are interested. I'll post it down below. It's on my Ballistic Barbecue channel. It's kind of fun to make. Then I have here 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt, and here I have 1/4 teaspoon of Chinese 5-spice. Usually, if
I'd probably just buy it.
someone's describing something,
Liquid smoke is one of those ingredients I use so rarely that I don't think I've used a full bottle before its expiration date hit.
tasting, you know, having a very Asian flavor like the sauce, it's usually 5 spices, at least what I think of when I think of Chinese flavors.
Damn it, I gotta piss. I'll be right back. Alright.
Give this a stir. This tastes good. It has that kind of Asian flavor, a little bit of fruitiness, a little smoke, and a tangy barbecue flavor. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get this on the burner here. So I'm using a little cooker. It's called the Mesa 2 by Monument Grills. They're selling this as like an entry-level grill. It's only like 400 bucks, 4 burners. But for cooks like these, I mean, you can load this up with a pretty decent amount of hamburgers or hot dogs. So like I said, it's 4 burners, and it actually performs pretty well. So small family like me, I think it's a good grill. And for the type of use that I'm going to be using it for, I think it's great. I think it's definitely a bargain. So let's get this on the burner. Let's get the flame on the side burner here. And I'm just going to more or less simmer this on a lower temperature. I don't want this to boil over. I just want to kind of start melting the honey and get everything incorporated, make the spices bloom a little bit. So on this particular cooker we have here what's called the broil zone. This gets really hot. You can like sear a steak on it. And here's just the kind of the normal zone there. I'm going to run this on high.
Dude, how many tanks do you have and how often do you replace them?
And I'll run this on low. I'll be using this to kind of toast the buns and keep things warm. All right, so about 5 minutes and we are ready to cook. We're going to start this off with the pork belly. It's pretty thick cut pork.
Okay, now pork belly like this is basically unsalted, uncured bacon.
Belly, and it is not cured or anything. I'm adding just a little bit of salt.
And careful, careful, careful grilling bacon like this, because you will start a fire that you've never seen before.
A little bit more salt there. It's right here, we're gonna start toasting our buns here. Some seeded buns. Just a warming tray here, so as things
So is there ground beef in our future, or is this just a slab of pork belly?
complete, I can pop them up there.
Because all that fat's going to be a hell of a... I'm not liking this. What is wrong with you Australians?
Here's our patty, 4 ounces of
Oh,
ground
thank
80-20
God.
chuck.
Okay, so
Hit it
quarter-pound
with just
patty.
a little bit of that kosher salt.
I love my quarter-pound patties.
A bit more of that salt.
Little
So
salt,
both
just
Burger
little
King and
salt.
Hungry Jack's, they flame broil their burger. Monument Grills is calling this the broil zone, so here you go. And what I'm looking for is a little sheen. I want to see some moisture coming through the top of this.
Flame broiled is dubious at best. They take pre-cooked frozen patties and pass them through an automated broiler. Basically, it legally meets the definition of flame broiled. But they don't take no fucking raw product and broil it.
Patty here before I flip.
God, I wonder how many people are like this. Because I've seen this I don't know how many times at chain restaurants that I've been at. It's one of the professions that I'm always very nice to the wait staff at. Because it's a job that if you were to hire me as a waiter at your restaurant, you'd be firing me within 2 hours. Especially if you're like the manager of like a Fridays or a Chili's or any of these casual chain restaurants. Because these idiots think that, like, Gordon Ramsay is back there. It's not. It's some cook named Miguel that we pay off the books. Yeah, technically, Burger King is flame grilled. Or, what the hell did they say? Flame broiled. Technically. But no, it's a frozen-ass patty run through a goddamn machine that technically counts as a broiler.
All right. That's a flip. Nice. That's gorgeous. Slice of American cheese. They're not going for that hardcore melt. That looks about right. Burger patty down. Right now, that pork belly.
Well, that burgers that say about medium rare, I'd eat it quick. Because it's well, for lack of a better term, bleeding into your goddamn bun.
Top of that pork belly, we'll lay down some of that homemade barbecue sauce. It smells good.
Yeah, the burger was portioned out. The burger was slid into an industrial grate oven. A bunch of them were baked, cooked, frozen, shipped to the store, and then some kid ran that motherfucker through a conveyor belt flame broiler. Literally, it was one step above just microwaving the fucking thing.
Nice slice of tomato. Top of the tomato, some freshly shredded iceberg lettuce. And then on that top bun, that crown, lay down some mayo.
Oh yeah, whatever they season the meat with, I have no doubt there's liquid smoke in it.
Here we are.
I know Wendy's used to say that there, and maybe back in the day there were. These days, I'm not so sure, but Wendy's has literally the only fast food burger I still like, and that's the Baconator.
So ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I give you the pork belly from Hungry Jack's in Australia. I don't like that name. It just, again, it's pork belly. Pork belly what? I think it should be called the barbecue pork belly Whopper.
Dude, you might have wanted to give this another minute on the fucking grill. God damn. Your bottom bun's gonna be soggy as fuck.
From Hungry Jack's. Look at that. That is a really nice looking burger. And barbecue sauce tastes good. It definitely has that kind of a Chinese, you know, Asian kind of a flavor. So one thing I want to say, yeah, that's enough sauce for probably 6 burgers. This burger's good. First thing, I mean, you're smelling, you know, that barbecued pork smell as you're bringing it up to your face. You can smell that rich pork belly, you know, that rendered fat, that kind of crisped fat. The thing that's nice is that warming tray there.
All right. I don't need to hear him suck the fucking grill's dick off. All right. This is, I don't think I've ever done this guy before, but apparently he has over 1 million subscribers. Better than lasagna, baked spaghetti perfection. Okay.
Today's dish is a throwback.
I love baked spaghetti, so what do you got?
Back to a classic. One of the first recipes I feel like I perfected on my culinary journey is baked spaghetti. Today I'm going to show you guys.
All right, I love baked spaghetti.
Each and every.
How many baked spaghettis have I made on my channel? And when was the last one? Because then I'm gonna make me some more baked spaghettis. Oh, there'll be baked spaghettis. Baked spaghettis for fucking days! Baked spa. I've never done it? I've never made a spaghetti bake? Oh, shit! Oh, shit! Maybe I titled it Spaghetti Bake. I've only made one, and that was nearly a year ago. Okay, that's changing.
Every secret that I learned along the way so you guys can make it happen at home. Meet me in the kitchen. Let's make it happen. All right, people, now it's time to get started on the sauce. And the sauce begins with a combination of ground beef and Italian sausage. Going in with a little olive oil, we have 80-20.
I don't have the yellow triangle of doom, just my stream's bit rate.
Ground beef here that I'm not
sure what the fuck it...
I'm gonna smash it down so it gets good surface area contact. Develop some crust. We have some Italian sausage that we took out of the casing. Gonna add that to the party as well. And just, you know, a good combination. If you don't eat pork, no big deal. You can do all beef. You can do turkey, chicken, whatever floats your boat. Growing up, I did this with straight ground beef. Didn't venture out into the Italian sausage as of yet as a youth. This recipe used to be just ground beef, Prego can or jar sauce, and some cheese on top, throw it in the oven. Over the years, it's evolved into something a little more gourmet, and today I'm showing you guys all the tips and tricks on how to make the best spaghetti you ever had in your life. Next up, let's talk seasoning. I'm going down first and foremost with the base layer of flavor, which is my all-purpose seasoning. This goes on everything. It's a layer of salt, pepper, garlic, onion powder, the absolute perfect ratio. If you haven't tried that yet, you can get it at MrMakeItHappen.shop. After that, we're going in with about a teaspoon or a pinch our red pepper flakes. I like to get that in there early so the oil can help the red pepper flakes rehydrate. Speaking of that, same deal applies with the oregano. Good tablespoon or two of dried oregano. Get it in there with that fat and oil. It'll rehydrate and bloom.
He's got an Anthony Bourdain tattoo. Look, I'm very sorry the man killed himself, but I'd never put another man's face on my body. Not a chance.
A lot more flavor. Speaking of flavor, chicken bouillon powder has MSG in it, and MSG makes everything taste delicious. So you can use accent, or I'm just in the habit of using chicken bouillon to kind of cover the bases, add a little extra pop of flavor. We'll let this meat brown up, then we're going to break it up with a spatula, go in with our tomato paste, and then we'll talk about the tomato products.
Maybe next time, instead of salt, I'll add chicken bouillon to burgers, see what that does.
Second. All right, so once the meat is browned up nicely, I'm going in with 1 diced onion. This is the part where you could add in bell pepper if that's your thing. I'm kind of just in the habit of going with just onion in my spaghetti these days. But, you know, whatever you're into. If you like bell pepper in your spaghetti, by all means, now's the time to add it. When you get that in there, let the onion start to sweat down. At that point, it's time to add in the paste. We're going with tomato paste and garlic paste. If you're using fresh garlic, you can add that right now as well. We're going to work that paste in and then deglaze with some dry red wine. Quick reminder, guys, you can find this recipe and all...
Thank you! Deglazing, important. If making pasta, preferably red wine.
All of my recipes at
with the exception of if you're making an Alfredo.
MrMakeItHappen.com. Now, one of the keys to any red sauce pasta is the quality of your tomatoes. And one of my opinions, a lot of people's opinion, is San Marzano has the best tomato quality. They're naturally a little bit sweeter. They're just, you know, a great quality product. So if you see anything San Marzano, that's the way to go. It's a little bit more expensive, but...
Yes, it is. I always add 2 cans.
It's a much, you know, superior product. You're gonna
just because every time I did tomato sauce or spaghetti bake with 1 can of tomato sauce, the pasta ate all the sauce up and it was just dry as fuck.
Need less sugar and things like that to balance the acid because it's naturally a little bit sweeter. We're gonna add that in there. Get our other crushed tomatoes in there as well. And again, guys, it's not a deal breaker. You can use whatever you got in the house.
Well, that's not crushed tomatoes. That's tomato sauce. There's a difference between the two.
So you don't have to run to the store and try to find it. But if you're shopping right now and you see the San Marzano tomatoes, they're worth a try for sure. They're a couple bucks more, but it's worth it. All right, people, if cheddar cheese wasn't controversial enough, I'm about to say something else that's going to cause some controversy. Ricotta from the store usually sucks, so we're not using it. I am going to do a mixture of Boursin garlic and herb cheese, because it's delicious, with sour cream. That's going to be my creamy layer in between the baked spaghetti layers. Think of it...
I'm just going to do ricotta.
Similar to like a lasagna, baked ziti. Any baked pasta needs a good creamy layer in the middle, and that's what we're going with today. Boursin garlic and herb cheese, a little sour cream. If you don't have sour cream or don't like sour cream, you can use ricotta in place of that, or cottage cheese if you want to do a little healthier version. Greek yogurt, all works.
Fuck it. We're gonna die anyway.
The same. Little mozzarella cheese in there as well. Some Parmesan cheese, and then some fresh herbs, the kind you cook with, not the kind that cook you. Basil and some parsley. Season to taste. And this is going to be our cheesy, creamy layer in our baked spaghetti. This is non-negotiable, guys. You got to try this. Trust me. Anything that's left over works great as a dip. You can use it for like stuffed chicken, stuffed salmon, turn it into a pasta sauce, whatever you decide to do. Just don't skip out on making this. All right, guys, now it's time to build our casserole dish for our baked spaghetti. We got the oven preheated at 350 degrees. We have a 9x11 casserole dish. Use whatever size. This is enough to probably do almost 2 of these. My wife likes regular spaghetti, so I'm gonna leave the leftovers for her if we have some. You wanna start with a layer of sauce, a very thin layer of sauce at the bottom, and then a gently coated noodle.
So basically, you're making a lasagna. I don't make my spaghetti bake this way. I might start doing the pasta sauce layer at the bottom just to prevent stickage.
On top of that, you want to toss it in the sauce, but not drown it in the sauce. You still want to see the pasta. So that's a good indication that it's not, necessarily swimming in the
Essentially, you're making a double layered lasagna.
sauce per se, but it does have a little coverage. So I'm gonna get that in there. Then I'm gonna ladle some of the meat sauce on top, then the cheese layer, and then repeat until you fill your casserole dish, and then top it with our shredded cheese and put it in the oven. Simple as that. All right, last but not least, my friends, optionally, I don't usually do this, but I'm kind of in the mood today. We're gonna top it with some pepperoni, because why the hell not? We're here for a good time, not a long time. And this is I used to do this when I was young, and it's good. So I mean, that's what's most important, right? Nice layer of pepperoni right on top. This, my friends, is going in the oven at 350 for about 25 to 30 minutes, or until the cheese is adequately melted, brown, bubbly, and beautiful. Serve this up with some garlic bread or a salad if you care about your health, and call it a day. This right here will last you a few days, and it gets even better as it sits in the fridge. Let me know what you think in the comments.
Yeah, don't get the sour cream in the squeeze bottle, because it's so easy just to do it yourself. I swear to God, I need to start making a list of kitchen tips of just how easy it is to do certain things with common everyday things. You have plastic bags. Those can be turned into piping bags.
Remember, you can find this recipe and all of my recipes at MrMakeItHappen.com.
It's like a friend of mine. She called me up. She's like, Dave, I'm cooking. Okay, cool. It calls for ricotta dollops. How do I do that? Easiest way, grab a bag. Put your ricotta in the bag. Put all the ricotta to one side of the bag. Cut the tip off the corner of said bag where all the ricotta is. Use that as a piping bag.
There you have it, guys. The world's best baked spaghetti. Best spaghetti of all time. If you're looking for a significant other, or you haven't got laid in a while, whip this one up. Thank me later. Let's get in here for the taste test. Before we do, another quick reminder, you can find this recipe and all of my recipes at MrMakeItHappen.com. It's cheesy. The pepperoni's added even more fat to the equation. Just when you thought you had enough.
Well, I'd eat the shit out of that. Okie dokie. Icing, because it needs to be decorative, you will need a professional piping bag, or not a professional, but an actual piping bag and various dyes to get your desired effect. But if all you're doing is just dot, 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 you don't need that. Just grab a fucking plastic bag. Alright, you know what? I think I'm going to end the stream here. Because me pipe is calling my name. And, yeah. I also need to start cooking. Good night, everybody. If I do a second stream, it will be on my second channel, Dave's Opinion.